Hi everyone. So welcome to the live stream today. Very much excited for having you on a special Q&A session as we prepare for the ICAG November 2021 examination and see what exactly we need to do. Today is a special Q&A session. So I'm going to be providing you with some strategies on how you can revise and pass the examination, what it is that you need to do. We have only 6 weeks to go. And so I want to provide you with some strategies, some techniques on how you should revise, the things that you need to look out for, and how you should position yourself in order for you to pass the examination. And I see some of you guys joining us. You are welcome. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube and also live on LinkedIn. So if you are watching us, give us a thumbs up on the video. But most importantly, this is a Q&A session. So comment in the comment section, comment in the chat box, any questions you have for me that you want me to share my thought on. Hit me with a question real quick as we go ahead with our discussion in that case. So it's a Q&A session. I'm going to be providing with you some strategies on how you should revise for the ICAG November 2021 examination, but also I'll be answering any questions you have for me as per your studies so far and the things that you would want me to share my thought on. So put it in the chat, put it in the comment for me as we get into the discussion today. In that case, as we get into the discussion today, in that case, so let me know. Now, note that for those of you writing financial reporting and corporate reporting, we have a masterclass, a special masterclass coming up for Sundays, 19th, 26th, and then 3rd and 10th of October 2021. It's going to be 4 Sundays that I'm going to be hosting a special session for those of you writing corporate reporting and financial reporting, but it is not for everybody. So you have to check out the terms and conditions on our website. You can click the description in the video. The first link in the description to the video, you can check up on it and look at the terms and conditions if it is something that you can go for, because I want people who are serious, people who are willing to put in the work, people who are willing to put in the effort, and I want to provide them with some strategies and deal with some key issues for them as we push them to pass the exam. So if you are somebody who is interested in this masterclass, you can register on our website. Financially, it is 250 Ghana cedis for the 4 sessions, and you get access to a lot of materials and content and study under my mentorship till you pass the exams or you write the exams coming November 2021. So you can check the details on our website. Please go through the terms and conditions before enrolling, because that is very important in that case. Right, so give me some questions. Any questions that you have, put it in the chat for me, put it in the comment section for me. There's a Q&A session as we go into it. I see some comments coming up. Let's pick them real quick, and then let me provide you with some strategies on how to revise. That is very critical and very basic. Raymond said, can't wait to join and get your usual vital guidance. Oh, Raymond, you will come. I think this was before the stream. Muntadi said, good evening, Nhyira. Good evening, Muntadi. Peter Chanda said, good evening, Nhyira. Good evening, Peter. Dogbe Rejoice said, I greet you, boss. I receive, madam. Fred Dankwa with a thumbs up in the chat. Share the video. Let's reach as many students as possible watching the live stream. Those of you watching on Facebook, share it up. Let's go. Just click the share button. Let's go. Those of you watching on YouTube, just share it. Let's get to many students to get access to the channel and get access to the content as well. Peterson Thomas said, thank you for your invaluable service. Always a pleasure, Peter. Thanks for joining us. Treasure Ebuka said, thank you for your labor of love. Always a pleasure, Treasure. Thank you. Okay, so it came in twice. Godwin Honu said, good evening, Nhyira. Good evening, Godwin. I hope that you're doing well, Godwin. Raymond Adonko said, God bless you always. It is well. God bless you too, Raymond. And thanks for joining us on the live stream today as we continue with our discussion in that case. So like I said, it's a Q&A session. Hit me in the chat, in the comment section, any questions you have for me and anything you would want me to share my thought on, put it in the chat for me real quick. But I'm going to be sharing with you 3 key strategies that I believe you need to put in place, maybe 3, 4 or 5 key strategies that you need to look out for as you prepare for your examination for the November 2021 exams. Like I said, we have 6 more weeks to go for the exams, just 6 more weeks to go for the exams, and very soon, or pretty soon, you're going to be hearing a lot of intervention classes coming across the country and all that. But it is not just about attending an intervention class. It's about positioning yourself in such a way that you get the best out of whatever intervention class that you're going to be going for. But most importantly, you need to put yourself in a better shape so that you'll be able to prepare well for the examination, go in the exam hall, write the exams, pass the exams, and most importantly, take your life to the next level in that case. So I want to share with you some key strategies that you need to implement right now for the next 6 weeks that we have towards the ICA November 2021 examination, so that you can really, really take your career, take your life to the next level as you prepare for the exam. So I want to share with you a couple of strategies on how you need to revise, how you need to structure all these up for you to pass the examination. So let me bring up my notes part as we go into it in that case. So I see a question coming up from Dogbe Rejoice. Dogbe Rejoice said, I want to know the difference between ROSI and ROA. I think return on equity, I guess. Something like that. Okay, so return on capital, ROSI, and then ROE. Now, the idea or the difference between the two is in the in the methods by themselves. With a ROSI, we are looking at the returns that the entity is making on the total capital that has been employed of the entity. So you are looking at the total capital employed. Now, if you are looking at the total capital employed, it is made up of 2 things. It is made up of the shareholders fund, okay, the shareholders fund, and then long-term equity. Sorry, long-term debts. Long-term debts. Note that there are times when you are doing ratios, you will be required to use lease obligations, both current and non-current, as part of the long-term debt in calculating the return on capital employed. So when you are looking at the ROSI, you are looking at how much returns the entity is making on the total investment that the entity has made generally. But the return on equity is where you are looking at the returns that shareholders are making on their investment. So return on equity, that one, you're not going to be taking into consideration the debt. You're only going to be taking into consideration the equity, or if you want, the shareholders fund at the end of the day. So it is the return that the shareholders are making as a result of their investment that the entity is making, or how the entity is utilizing those investments from the shareholders. So return on equity looks at the returns that shareholders are making on their investment, okay, by the company. But then the ROSI looks at the returns that the entity is making on its total capital, including what is coming from shareholders, and then what? The bondholders or the debt holders in that case. So that is the difference between the two. ROSI, it's about the total capital of the company, both debt and from the shareholders. ROE, return on equity, it's about the returns that we are making on only the shareholders' investment of the company or the shareholders fund at the end of the day. So one is for assessing from the perspective of the shareholders. ROSI is for assessing both from the perspective of the shareholders and the bondholders in that case. So that is the idea about that. Now, a better way to understand these two ratios is to know about the AT, that is the asset turnover ratio, the ability of the entity to generate more revenue in that case. So Joyce Dobe, let me know if that distinction makes sense for you in that case. I see some of you guys also joining. Comment in the chat box, comment in the comment section any questions you have for me. This is a Q&A session, so share your thought with me. What do you want me to share my thought on? What questions do you have for me? Put it in the chat, put it in the comments, and I'm going to be reading all your comments and replying to them. In that case, remember to also give us a thumbs up on the video and share the video. Let us reach as many students as possible in that particular case. Then I see another question coming from Nicholas Salwini. Said, please, difference between mid-year review and supplementary estimates. All right, so that is public sector accounting and finance. So mid-year review and then supplementary estimates. Now, this is about budgeting in the public sector. So let me share my thought on that real quick. Budgeting in the public sector. Let me share my thought on that real quick. Now, as per the 1992 Constitution, by 31st July of every year, the Minister of Finance is required to present to Parliament a mid-year review. The purpose of the mid-year review is to provide Parliament with government management of the economy from January to June of that year under consideration. So in the mid-year review, it's done at the 31st of July every year, and I'm focusing, we are in Ghana, so I'm doing Ghana. 31st July every year at least, it should be done. Now, here, the Minister of Finance, like I said, presents to Parliament government stewardship about public financial management. How much revenue have we generated? How much expenditures have we incurred? What have we done so far in the year under consideration? That is what we mean by the mid-year review. Now, whilst Minister of Finance is presenting the mid-year review, the Constitution requires that he can submit what is called supplementary estimate. Now, supplementary estimate is an additional estimate that the Minister of Finance provides to Parliament during the mid-year review, requesting for additional funding and or other revenue to undertake certain what? Expenditures or incur certain expenditures. So that is the supplementary estimate. So the supplementary estimate is an additional budget, an additional request that the government wants, probably over and above the original budget, so that Parliament reviews and approve it, and it will be implemented in the current year under consideration. So, Nicholas, that is the difference. The mid-year review is reporting to Parliament the government stewardship of the public financial management or public financial management generally from January to June in the current year under consideration. The budgetary or supplementary estimate is an additional budget estimate that the Minister of Finance presents to Parliament to be considered as an additional appropriation, so that it allows the government to either raise more revenue from other sources or incur some expenditures in that particular case. So it is during this budgetary estimate that we see new taxes being introduced. It is during this budgetary estimate that we see additional expenditures being brought. In this year, especially 2021, the government did not request for additional funding. What the government did was to cut some expenditures rather, and Parliament approved that for it to be used in that case. So, Nicholas, that's the difference between the mid-year review and the supplementary estimates. Let me know if that makes sense for you, Nicholas, as we move ahead with our discussion. Another question coming up from Agatha said, please kindly explain the treatment and provide journal entries on the following. When there is investment in associate and the investor sells inventory to the associate, if they sell inventory to the associate, you've not asked anything. No? So Agatha, if they sell inventory to the associates, they've sold the inventory to them, they account for it in the separate books, unless otherwise there is something about your question. So maybe contextualize or it's incomplete, maybe something like that. If they sell inventory to them, they've sold inventory to them. So everybody accounts for it in their individual book, unless otherwise there is something specific that you want me to talk about. So maybe you can clarify that for me. Ntlele said, Ntlele. Every day I don't mention this name right. Forgive me, okay? Please forgive me. So he said, good evening, Nhyira. Good evening. Timothy A has said, good evening, sir. It's been a while. It's like I will write next year. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. The Vim is down and works. Oh, okay. That's good to do. Once you know your capacity, to be good to go. How do you treat financial gain and hedging gains in corporate tax liabilities in advance taxation? Oh, if I understand your question carefully, let me bring in my slide. Now, it depends on the entity that we are dealing with. There are two treatments there. There is a way traditional firms treat that. Now, when I say traditional firm, and then there is a way oil and gas firms deal with that. The idea is that with oil and gas firm, what oil and gas sectors, entities operating in that, any financial gain must be allocated or charged in accordance with the finance cost. So if in a year the entity makes a finance gain and they don't incur any finance cost, then the finance gain will be added to the income and taxed at the rate of 35%. You know, their tax rate is 35%. But then if they make a financial cost and they don't make any financial gain, then that financial cost shall be carried to the next accounting year for a period of 5 years till they make a gain. Then they can write it off against the gain in that case. But for traditional firm, financial gain, like you mentioned, is just added and taxed at the corporate tax rate. But if they have financial cost, then the financial cost allowable shall be the financial gain plus 50% of the adjusted chargeable income. So it's not just about the financial gain. There could be financial cost there, and you must know how much is allowable and how much is not allowable. But since your question centered around gains, then that is how you treat it. It will be treated separately by oil and gas firms and traditional firms, other firms that are outside the oil and gas sector in that particular case. So that was who? That was Raymond. Let me know if that makes sense for you. Let me know if that makes sense for you. Godwin Hozu said, Nhyira, please, what may be the case on ratios where the ROCE may increase from previous year as compared to current year, but asset turnover still remain the same without any change? Yeah, there are a number of factors why that could happen, so that your ROCE it's going up, but the asset turnover, sorry, ROCE is going up, but the asset turnover is static, from what you're saying. Now, in the interpretation of this kind of scenario, it could mean that, yes, the entity is not generating additional revenue, but probably it could mean that the entity is controlling its cost much better at the end of the day. So asset turnover is the same, meaning they are generating almost the same revenue from last year to this year. So probably what is happening is that they are controlling their costs very well, like operating cost, like distribution cost, like maybe cost of sales very well. So the only attribute that we could say here is that the entity is controlling its cost much better, because revenue is the same, but the ROCE is going up in that case. So Godwin Hozu, that is the answer to your question. Let me know if that makes sense for you. I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. There's a Q&A session. So hit me in the chat any questions you have for me that you would want me to share my thought on. And I'm providing you with some strategies on how to revise as well. And so let's get into that as well. So let me know. Give me a thumbs up on the video when you join. It helps us a lot, so that YouTube and Facebook can push the video so we can reach as many students as possible and assist a lot of people. Because, you know, we have a lot of videos on the channel, over 550 videos on the channel, and people need these videos so they can prepare well. Your like, your sharing, your comments, your engagement helps us to reach a lot of people, so together we can really assist a lot of students across. Nicholas said, okay. All right, that's great. Raymond, let me know if you are okay. Godwin, let me know if you are okay. What else we got? Let's see. What name is that? Lenche. Forgive me if I don't mention your name right, okay? Just forgive me. I don't mean to destroy your name, okay? Good evening, sir. Can you please explain a consignment arrangement and customer loyalty program under IFRS 15? In what context? Usually when it comes to IFRS 15, the issue about customer loyalty program. Okay, let's see. Let me come back to this. So I see another comment coming up. Let me bring it up real quick in that particular case. Raymond said, Godwin said, okay. All right. Abdul, let me bring Abdul. Good evening, sir. What is that? Please, do you need to discount a redeemable preference share to get the fair value, or you just use the nominal value under IFRS 9? You don't need to discount anything. So you just use the nominal value given to you in that case. But you got to be careful because sometimes it could be issued at a discount. So if it is issued at a discount, then the discount value will be what will you recognize in the financial statement. So for instance, it is issued at, say, 2% discount, which means that whatever nominal value you get, what's going to be happening is that you are going to be, how do we call it? Take 98% of the nominal value, and that will be the value that you add in the books of the company in that case, in the books of the company in that case. Dogbe said, it's okay, sir. All right. Let's see. Dogbe said, thanks. All right. Let's see. Let me bring this up. Okay, so I see some of you guys joining as well. There was a question from Agatha. I don't know if you're still watching. Like I said, give me a clarity on your question because your question is incomplete. When an investor sells to an associate, they have sold to them. So you treat it as a normal sales, unless there is something else, like I said, that we need to look out for. So probably contextualize the question and then let's see. Okay. Let's see. All right, so let me provide you with some strategies here on how to revise as we wait on some other questions coming up. So key strategies on revising. Key strategies on revising. Okay, so Agatha, it's coming up with something. Let me take that real quick. I think I wanted a clarity on her question, and it looks like she's brought it. So let's see. In the context of significant influence, isn't inventory not sold by associates at the end going to affect the balance of investment in associates in the statement of financial position? Yes, so you are now providing me with some context. Because if you just said inventory sold to the parent, how we account for it? We account for it the way we account for sales. So if there is any inventory that they have not sold during the at the end of the period, then yes, it will have an effect in that case. But this is how you deal with that. You got to be careful on that. So let's say that they sold an inventory of say $10,000 at a margin of whatever, let's say 25%, and the associate has maybe 1/4 of this still in stock, okay, at the end of the year. And let's say that we have acquired 35% of the company. Stay with me with the illustration well. So the provision for realized profit here will be 1/4 of 10,000, which is the 2,500. Then we take 25% of that, and that gives us an amount of, let me punch that real quick here on my 2,500 times 0.25, boom, 625. So the provision for realized profit here is 625. But this is the deal. This is the deal. This is the deal. This is the deal. Listen carefully. Even though the provision for realized profit is 625, we don't take the entire 625. We only take the parent or the investor's share of that 625. Does it make sense? You only take the parent. So if the parent has 35% share, then the provision for realized profit that will be taken to the investment in associate will be 35% of that 625. Okay? So by 0.35, and that's going to be about $219 US. So Agatha, if you asked, this is how the treatment is done in that particular case. Does it make sense to you? So note, yes, there will be provision for realized profit, but we don't take the whole amount. If it was a subsidiary, the whole amount will go to group retained earnings. But if it is an associate, the whole amount doesn't go. Only our percentage of investment in the associate that will be taken and deducted from the investment in associate figure. So let me know if that makes sense for you, Agatha. Now that you provided me with clarity, I'm able to answer your question. Osmanu Amankwa said what? When there is inventory and other current assets, cash generating units, can you use the other current assets as cash and receivables without letting suffer impairment? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because if you have inventory, okay, and then you have other current assets, we presume that that other current asset could be trade receivables and then cash. And if you remember under IAS 36, impairment of assets, we assume that trade receivables and cash are not subject to impairment. So yes, you would just deal with the inventory and not let the other assets suffer impairment in that case. Wusa Sanu said, good evening, sir. Can I get some of the ICAG books written by you? I want books like PSA, Man Accounting, Financial Reporting, da 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 da. Okay, what you can get currently is my public sector book, and it is 120 cities. You can call the number scrolling below the screen, 050-114-9296, and it's 120 cities. You can get a copy of that. Then Principles of Taxation is also available. For Man Accounting and Financial Reporting, we currently don't have hard copies available, but if you enroll in our course, you get access to the ebooks for free, in addition to the lecture videos and joining our live Zoom sessions as well. But you can get a public sector book. It's 120 cities, and you can call or WhatsApp 050-114-9296. You can see the number below your screen there. I'm trying to see if I can bring it up. 114-9296. Let me see if I can bring it up so you can see it in your stream. So that's it about that. And if you're writing taxation also, we have the taxation book there. That's also 120 in that case. So Wasu Sanu, we can do delivery to Wa, so no problem. As far as you make an order, delivery will be arranged and you pay for that. You pay for that. I see another question. Edmond said, sir, please, can you throw more light on provision for unrealized profits? I found it difficult, please. I think I just threw some light on this, but let's see if we can show some love to provision for unrealized profit. The idea about provision for Agatha, I don't know if you're watching me, but if you're watching me, let me know if your explanation was okay for you. And then Osmanu, okay, Osmanu's was just a confirmation. I hope that it makes sense for you. The idea about provision for unrealized profit is that if a parent sells to a subsidiary, or a subsidiary to a parent, or a parent to an associate, what happens at the end of the day is that the profit has not been earned yet if the entity has not sold the goods it bought from the other party. So the provision for unrealized profit is usually, it's calculated on the unsold inventory that has been bought from the other party. And it could be calculated on goods in transit and also closing inventories in the stock of the entity who bought the goods. Now, if it is a parent selling, then the provision for unrealized profit will be put in the group retained earnings. If it is a subsidiary who is selling, then they have not made that profit yet. The idea is that we are parents. Okay, we are one. The two shall be one. So I'm a parent, you are a subsidiary. If you sold to me and what you sold to me, I have not sold it yet, but you sold to me at a profit, then if the two is one, then you've not made the profit yet. So as a group, we've not earned the profit. So since we've not earned the profit as a group, the effect of that profit must be scrapped or deducted from the consolidated financial statement. It is for this reason why we calculate the provision for unrealized profit. So the idea is one sold to the other at a profit. And in accordance with IAS 2, inventory should be carried out what? Lower of cost and net realizable value. But in the books of the one who bought it, they are carrying the asset, the inventory at its market value. At its market value. So that makes it difficult against IAS 2. So we need to rather reduce it, and that reduction is the provision for unrealized profit. Is the provision for unrealized profit. So that is the idea in that particular case. So let me know if that makes sense for you. Edmond, let me know if that makes sense for you. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago, I am hosting a special corporate reporting and financial reporting masterclass. It's a 4-Sunday masterclass that I'm hosting. You can check details about it on our website. The first link in the description of the video. And make sure you read the terms and conditions very well before you enroll, because it's not for everybody, but for those of you who will be excited to be part of it, we're going to be looking at key issues in corporate reporting and financial reporting on 4 Sundays in that case. On 4 Sundays in that case. So what are some of the strategies you need to implement when it comes to the issue about revising? Number one, since we have 6 weeks to go, number one, this is what I wanted you to do. Do not focus on your weaknesses. Listen carefully, because I'm going to drop a bomb that you must understand. Do not focus on your weaknesses. Now, I'm going to clarify that to you in a moment. What you want to do is first ask yourself, what are the key areas to focus on? What are the key areas to focus on? Now, let me explain this. There are times when there are certain subjects you have challenges in the treatment of certain things. Now, those things that are nightmare for you may not be that material when it comes to the examination as a whole. So the first thing you want to do in your revision journey is to ask yourself, what are the key areas that I need to focus on? For instance, if you're writing public sector accounting and finance, you know definitely there will be a question on final account. Now, as to whether it is going to be on the central government or a spending unit, that one is another thing, but we know there is a question on final account. 2, I know that there is going to be a question on ratios in the public sector. Evaluation of financial statements, it's going to be there in the public sector. And then other ones. I mean, we will talk about some of these things later on. I know some of you will say, Nhyira, give us all the areas, but you know, that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to public sector, these are key areas. So instead of worrying your head, saying that, oh, Nhyira, budgeting is too much. When I read the budgeting cry, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Yes, there will be question on budgeting, but you don't look at your weaknesses. You need to focus on the areas of the syllabus that is big, that you stand a chance of passing the examination. Because the final account is 20 marks. The ratios is 20 marks. Sometimes the examiner is excited, could do 15. So let's say, give and take, you're getting 40% from these 2 questions, just from these 2 areas. Then I know, let me give you a bonus. Number 3, that there is going to be a question on basis of accounting and general purpose financial statements. Question 1 or question 2. So usually, question 1 or 2, usually. Now, that is also 10 marks guaranteed. So instead of you focusing on your weaknesses, when I read budgeting, I don't understand. Public procurement, it is too many. When you read no. You don't focus on the weaknesses. Focus on the key areas of the syllabus that you have to optimize at. And that is what the first thing you want to do. That's the first strategy I want you to adopt as you start with your revision in the next 6 weeks. Do not focus on your weaknesses. Instead, ask yourself, what are the key areas to focus on in the syllabus? If part of the key areas to focus on is where you have a weakness, then you can work on it in the step 2. Then you can work on it. So I use public sector because I get a lot of concerns from public sector, and people are like, the public sector is voluminous, budgeting is plenty. You read. You don't understand. Then what else we got there? Public procurement is plenty. You read. You don't understand. Guess what? 10 mark questions coming from these areas. But I know final account 20 marks. I know ratio minimum 15 marks. I know basis of accounting and general purpose financial statement. There is going to be a question there. What the heck? Focus on that. Focus on the areas that will catch your attention. If you are doing financial reporting, we know there's going to be a question on ethics. All right? We know there will be a question on ethics. We know there will be a question on ratio. Right? We know there will be a question on standards. All right? So somebody will say, some of the standards, you learner, you don't understand. Okay, there are key standards that are necessary for you to pass your financial reporting exams. You don't have to know all the standards, but there are key standards. There are solid standards that whether you like it or not, they are in the exam hall under the single entity financial statement. The question you ask yourself is, what are these standards and what is my strength in those standards? So whilst other standards are giving you headache, don't really look at them. Look at the areas that you will optimize. Ethics, 10 marks. Ratios, 15 marks. If the examiner is excited, he can make it 20. Standards, we are getting 40 marks from there. The standard single entity, the standard itself question, and then the financial statement question. Then on the consolidated financial statement, some of the footnotes, the standards will play a role there in that particular case. And there are key standards you must know about going into every financial reporting and corporate reporting examination. Key standards, they are non-negotiable. Whether I like it or not, there will be something about them in the exam hall. So the first thing I want you to do is, don't say, I have challenge in this, I have challenge in that, I can't learn this. When I learn, I forget. No, ask yourself, what are the key areas of the syllabus that I have to focus on. Now, 99.9% of the time, if you're attending lectures anywhere, that is going to be provided to you, definitely, by your tuition provider. But for those of you learning under my mentorship, you're going to be getting access to these in our examination analysis documents. And for those of you who will be joining my corporate reporting and financial reporting masterclass, these are the things we're going to be doing during the masterclass, where we are looking at not your weaknesses, not things that burdens you, but things that are guaranteed that will be in the exam hall, and how you position yourself, answer the questions to pass the exams. That is the issue about that. That is the issue about that. So that is the first thing I want you to do. That's the first thing I want you to do. Ask yourself, what's my slide on that? Do not focus on your weaknesses. Ask yourself, what are the key areas of the syllabus? That is very, very critical. That is very, very critical in that case. So that's the first strategy I want you to adopt as you prepare for your revision. As you prepare for your revision. Strategy number two. Strategy number two is, now that you know the key areas you have to focus on, you need to ask yourself, so you analyze. Number two, analyze from your study plan what you have covered so far. Analyze from your study plan what you have covered so far. And what is left to do. Now, in case you don't know how to prepare a study plan, I did a video on that. Earlier this year, I did a video on how to prepare a study plan. You can watch that video. You can check the description of this video. You can get a link to that video, or just type in on YouTube how to prepare study plan. That video will come up. I shared with you how you need to prepare a study plan. In other words, what I'm saying is that just look at your notes. What have you covered so far? So if you look at the key areas you need to focus on to pass the examination, and then you look at what you have done so far, you do the analysis so that you identify, what else haven't I done? What are the key areas of the syllabus that I've not focused on? Because the reason is that many a times students just learn. I tell people this: passing the professional examination is not just about picking up a book and learning. It's not just about picking up the book and learning. I get in it. It's not just about picking up the book and learning. It is about learning the right thing in the right approach. And it is not just about, oh, Nhyira, when I pick the book, I learn for 3 hours, then I go and sleep, then I go. No, it is not about how long you sit per session for studying. It is about the quality of the session. Because I can guarantee you, if you are learning sitting down for 3 hours, but the TV is on, you're listening to some music, you have your phone with you, you are receiving WhatsApp notification, you are receiving Instagram notifications, you're receiving messages from people, what the heck? The 3 hours is just a waste of time, and you didn't do anything. So it is not about how long you spend, it's about the quality of the time you spend. So I have a mantra for my student that, hey, even if it is 30 minutes, no bullshit. Listen carefully. No bullshit. In 30 minutes, the phone is not with you, no radio, no TV, no child is crying, no co-worker or whatever the heck is doing, no noise, quality time, 30 minutes. I can guarantee you, you can be in a better position to pass the examination. But many of the challenges that you have is that when you are learning, you have a lot of BS running around you, a lot of noise running around you, a lot of distraction running around you, and you have your phone on, your data is on, messages are coming in. Please, you are not learning. You are just entertaining yourself. That is why when you get up from the book and you go, you realize that there is nothing in your head, because the truth of the matter is that you have not learned anything. So you need to be really laser beam focused if you want to pass the examination in that case. So strategy number one, ask yourself, what are the key areas? Don't look at your weaknesses first. Wrong. Ask yourself, What do I need to know to pass these exams? If it is corporate reporting, what do I need to know? If it is financial reporting, what do I need to know? If it is public sector, what do I need to know? What is it that if it is management accounting, what do I need to know? Because I know there are things that will come in the exam hall. So instead of wasting your time on things that gives you headache, why not optimize your strength on the topics and the key things you know will be in the exam hall, so you do it? That is the strategy. That is the strategy, because you don't work on your weaknesses. Something could be your weakness, but it may not feature in the exam hall. What about that? However, if you know the key things you must focus on, work at those ones. If you are weak in them, then you work at them, because you know, as you understand it, you are actually going to pass the exams in that particular case. So that is the issue about that. That is the issue about that. I see some comments coming in. Let me see if I can pick them up real quick. Raymond said, please, my question is partially answered. My problem actually is the traditional entities, where you take financial cost plus 50% of something, something. I'm not getting that part. Please, brief detail on that. Now, this is a whole lecture on its own. I don't know which taxation book you are using, Raymond, but it should be covered in any good taxation book. But the idea is that it is 50% of adjusted chargeable income. You readjust the chargeable income by disallowing the financial cost that was treated as expenses, and then subtracting the financial gain, so that you get a chargeable income of the entity by reversing those two items. That is the concept about a chargeable gain, and that is what you take 50% off and add it to the financial gain to know the financial cost that is allowable in that particular case. I don't know if that makes sense for you, because that is a whole lecture on its own, and I covered that in detail in my book on taxation, and we have even a material or a principle document for all students who enroll in my taxation book, in my taxation class, and they get access to these principles, and these principles are well explained in that ebook as well, and they are also explained well in the book. So I don't know, but if you have a good tax book, it should give you something there. So the financial cost allowable is financial gain plus 50% of adjusted chargeable income. Like I said, the adjusted chargeable income is the chargeable income excluding the effect of the chargeable gain and excluding the effect of the financial gain and then the financial cost. So Raymond, that is what I would say there in that case. Let me know if that makes sense now. Agatha said, yes, I am answered. Thank you so much for that clarity, because I'm now aware that if the inventory was sold by the associate, the unsold profit affect the retained earning. Okay, so that is the issue about that. Stan Obi said, hi, Nhyira, I joined late. What areas in ACCA exams to focus on for financial reporting and audit and assurance? It's the same thing. There will be standards there, and there are key standards you have to focus on. There will be issues about ratios there, definitely there, and definitely there will be issues about consolidated financial statements. Financial statement there when it comes to dealing with financial reporting in that case. Then certainly we're going to be having some issues about, want to see something here. I have a slide on that. I want to see if. So ratio, console, the standards, depending on how excited the examiner is. Now, remember when I say standards, I'm also referring to the issue about, how do we call it? single entity financial statement, because you may have single entity financial statement to be prepared, statement of profit or loss and cash flow coming up, but you know the standards are going to be applicable there. For audit and assurance, definitely issues about audit procedure is going to be there. Audit evidence is going to be there. Audit planning and risk assessment is a basic issue, is going to be there. Issues about internal controls will also be there in that particular case, will also be there in that case. See another comment coming in from Lenchi. Said, how do we account for contract liabilities and contract assets under IFRS 15? Contract assets is a current asset, so it goes on the face of the statement of financial position under current asset. Then if it is a contract liability, it goes under current liability in the financial statement. So that is the issue about contract asset and contract liability. Wasu said, can you please mention the key standard areas for RAS? I have done some videos on some of these standards issue already in that case. The IAS 16, the IAS 12, IAS 37. We've mentioned some of these standards also there as key standards you need to look out for. Raymond, it makes sense a lot. Thanks. When you ask for topics, I actually tendered the topic, but unfortunately, time has not allowed you to touch on it, though you noted it. Where was that? Maybe you can bring the topic again, because I'm getting a lot of chats, so sometimes I could skip something. So Raymond, you could bring that up again and let's see. Stan Obi said, thanks, you're welcome. So what are we saying? Strategy number 1, look at the key areas of the syllabus, not your weaknesses. Strategy number 2, analyze from your study plan what you've done so far and what is remaining to be done. Number 3, you identify the key topics and areas you have challenges with. You identify the key topics or areas, key topics or key areas you have challenges with. Now, remember, I didn't say what you have weaknesses in. There are a lot of topics, but key topics. Key topics. Remember, this is revision. So we are not here to do everything. We are here to focus on key issues to optimize yourself to pass the exams in that particular case. So again, this will be done with the help of maybe wherever you are attending lectures, if you're able to have that opportunity, because I'm going to be hosting sessions for our students where we will be analyzing some of these things over the weekend in that case. So you need to sit down, or if you have that opportunity with your tuition provider or your lecturer, then you'll be guided. Okay, these are the key topics. Okay, these are my challenges. Okay, when it comes to consolidated financial statements, this is my problem about consolidated financial statement. I can do goodwill. I can do net asset of subsidiary. But when it comes to the intragroup trading, I kind of don't get it. Then that is your area of challenge. Are you getting the idea? When it comes to public sector accounting and finance, yeah, the ratios, I can calculate. But how to interpret the ratios, that is my problem. Then we deal with it. Then when it comes to financial reporting again, or corporate reporting, ethics, I understand everything about integrity, professional competence and due care, objectivity, professional behavior, confidentiality. I understand all the threats, self-review threat, But when the question comes, I don't know how to link those things with it. That is a key topic. And so if you have problem with linking, then we can help you with your problem. Are you getting the idea? So you are not here finding out what are my weaknesses. Now you are finding out what are the key topics, and then what areas in those key topics that do I have challenge in, that I need polish up. And these are some of the things that I'll be doing in our financial reporting and corporate reporting masterclass that is coming up. So that is why it's going to be a very limited thing, and it's really a focus group. That is why you see that some terms and conditions very high there, because we want to deal with specific issues so that you can go into the exam hall and pass the exams. We want to be specific, direct, and deal with your challenges in that particular case. So that is the third thing. You identify the key areas you have challenges with, and that's very critical. That is very, very critical in that particular case. That is very, very critical in that particular case. So that is the third thing. That is the third thing you want to do. Number 4, once you know the key areas, you look at your study plan and you see what you have done so far and what you are left to do. 3, you have identified the key areas that you have challenges in. The 4th one is my favorite area, and that is redesign your study plan. Redesign your study plan. Redesign your study plan and modify your learning strategies to optimize your chances of passing the exams. And modify your learning strategies to optimize your chances of passing the examination. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, we are in revision, 16 weeks to go. Sorry, 6 weeks to go. Sorry, 6 weeks to go. So we are in revision. So you need to redesign your timetable, your study plan, and look at it more closely. These are the areas I have challenges in. You know, when it comes to ratios, I can't interpret. Okay, I need more sessions on interpretation because I know ratios will be in the exam hall. Okay, when it comes to console, the intragroup trading issue, it has always been my challenge. Okay, then I need more time to solve questions and look at that area specifically to do it. So you need to redesign your study plan. But most importantly, you need to modify your learning strategies. Listen, the way you started learning in the beginning of the class is not the same way you have to learn during the revision session. You got to change your strategy. Probably you got to change your environment. And this is where some of you will take leave to burn a midnight candle and suffer with emotional problems. No, you don't want to suffer that. Like I tell you all the time, you want to cruise to the exams. Like you cruise, especially on the day of the exams. You don't want to struggle a lot. But this is the time when people are scrambling the books because they've attended intervention class by Kofi, Ama, Akosia, Ekia, and so now they are jumping from one note to the other. Like I tell you in the beginning of this discussion, and I keep on telling you, the purpose of an intervention class that you're going to attend, I don't do that, but the purpose of the intervention class that you may attend is to redefine you and provide you with some strategies. At the end of the day, there's going to be general issues that are going to be talked about, but you have to know how to use that information to go into the exam hall and pass the exams. So it is not a quick fix strategy. It is a strategy about how you redefine your ability, your study mood, your mental, your emotions, so that everything will be in sync for you to pass the examination. So these are the 4 key strategies that I believe you need to adopt during this 6 weeks left for the ICA November 2021 examination. And most importantly, if you want to pass the exams. Number 1, don't focus on your weaknesses. Ask yourself, what are the key areas of the syllabus that the examiner will bring? It's a Dukadaya area. Whether you like it or not, there will be a question there. Okay, what have I covered so far? What am I left with to cover? Okay, what are my challenges in those key areas that I have covered so far? Find out. Then number 4, you redesign your study plan, because the study plan you were using at the beginning cannot be used this time around, because this time around you are niching down, you are focusing, you are looking at specific issues that you need to look out for in order for you to pass the examination. And 99.9% of the time, whatever intervention class that you go, those specific challenges that you have may not be addressed, because it's going to be general issues, so it may not be addressed. It is for this reason why you got to sit down and find out, where can I get a material? Maybe some YouTube video will be available. Look for it, watch it. Maybe there is an article about it on Google. Google about it, read it. Just find out from other places in addition to whatever content that you're going to be getting, because you see, your life is in your hand. I tell people, yes, when you study under my mentorship, yes, I know I am good, but that is not enough. If you sit under my class, you finish and go and put the book down, you go and fail. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not good. That doesn't mean I'm not excellent, but you have a role to play. But what we see is that a lot of you think that, oh, when I attend this intervention class, when I attend this class here, no, I will pass. That is just a step. The onus lies on you. You must sit down, decide on your own volition and say that, hey, I got to sit down. This is my problem. This is what I got to do. Because when you go to the exam hall, the question there, you might not have seen it anywhere, and you need to apply the principles from all that you have studied over the last 16 weeks. And so that is what I want to share with you today on how to revise and increase your chances of passing the examination. Raymond said, financial gains and corporate tax liabilities. I'll get in touch personally because I see you have full control over that area. Thank you, my mentor. Always a pleasure. I teach taxation, so and it's one of the basic issues in advanced taxation that you must know about, and in principles of taxation as far as you are dealing with corporate tax liability. So it's really a simple scenario. Like I said, I treated it in my book, and then if you enroll in our taxation class as well, we have an ebook available where I explain all the key principles in taxation, all in that ebook that you can get access to. And once you have that ebook, it's actually going to open you up how you deal with bonuses over time, how you deal with financial costs, financial gain, how you deal with withholding taxes on VAT, withholding taxes on VAT, withholding taxes on VAT, withholding tax itself, capital allowance, all of those things. We explain it in that ebook. In addition to this book, I mean, you should be able to go in there and pass the examination in that case. So if you say I have control, it's because I teach the subject, basically. Noah said, thanks, you are welcome. Let me know. Give me some sign in the chat. Give me some sign in the chat. What do you think about the strategies that I've shared with you? 4 key strategies. And how many of you are going to be implementing these strategies at the end of the day? How many of you are going to be implementing these strategies at the end of the day? Let me know in the chat. Share your thought with me real quick. Treasure Ebuka said, please, what is the dollar equivalent of the lecture coming up for those outside Ghana? 250 Ghana cedis in dollars. I don't know. We can check that up right now. Could be a little over $30 or so. No, a little over $40, I guess. Let's check that out. You can just Google that. Wherever you're coming from, you can just Google that. Let's see. 250 cedis to US dollars. Okay, that's about $42. You can see that here. $42, about $42. But check with your bank or whatever, the exchange rate before you go. So it's about $42 US if you ask the dollar equivalent of the 250 cedis in that case. But please make sure you read the terms and conditions on the page before you enroll, okay? Because we have some strict terms and conditions on the page that you must make sure you adhere to in the course. If not, even if you enroll, we will take you off the course and there will be no refund for you. So please make sure you read the terms and conditions on the page. You can check the description of this video. The first link, go to the website, you will see CRFR Masterclass, and read the terms and conditions if it is something you can do, because this is not for everybody. It is for the people who want to go the extra mile and people who want to deny themselves of the pleasures and the small jobs and really dive deeper to pass the examination. So read the terms and conditions. If it is favorable for you, you can fulfill them, then you can enroll in the course. Divo Asari said, good evening, sir. Please, how do I get your ebook? Which ebook you are referring to? You could get some of our books on Amazon, the Kindle version, and read it using the Kindle application. Or if you enroll in our online courses, there are some of the courses that you will get access to ebooks, like principles of taxation. You get access to a principal document, but the main book is a hardcover. That one you have to buy it. Public sector, the same thing. You have to buy the book. But management accounting, there are ebooks available. You will get them. So technically, all my ebooks that are available for free are attached to our courses, and we don't sell them independently. You could buy them on Amazon if you want to buy the Kindle version, but we don't sell them independently. It is part of the course, and when you enroll in the course online, you get access to the ebooks for those that have the ebooks available. Suleiman Abubakar said, thanks, Nhyira. Always a pleasure, Suleiman. Stan Obi said, strategy is really great. That's awesome. Raymond said, those strategies are so fantastic. God bless you. Amen. God bless you. Also, so much helpful tips to satisfactorily study under less stress to excellence. That's very critical, you know. That's very critical, you know, because what I like to do always is that, like I said, something like public sector, I have students who are like, Nhyira, when I read budgeting, like, I don't understand the whole thing from the head to the tail. The note is plenty. Okay, that's okay. Public procurement, the note is plenty. That is okay. Now, the whole public procurement, you're going to get a 10-mark question from public procurement, right? Just 10-mark questions coming from there. But final account is there. Ratios is there. Basis of measurements and general purpose financial statement conceptual framework is there. And these are areas that you can easily work out and get the marks from there. And PPP, public-private partnership arrangement, it's not that much. And there is a 10-mark question on that. It's an area you could go for. So optimize your strength. Now, that doesn't mean you forgo the other topics, but increase your strategies of your understanding of those key things that will have a lot of marks in the exam, or 99.9% of the time, and then go in there and make yourself proud. Leonard Montadi said, I concur with you 100%, and I'll definitely do that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Sir, do you have video that cover IAS 8? That is accounting policy, changes in accounting estimates and errors. I don't think we have a video of that on the YouTube channel. I don't think we have a video of that on the YouTube channel, but it is part of the videos in our main course on our study portal. If you enroll in financial reporting or corporate reporting, it's part of the videos you get on the portal in that case. But I don't think we have a video on it on my YouTube channel here. What a wonderful guidelines. Much thanks to you, sir. Always a pleasure, Wasu. Nicholas said strategies will be fully implemented. That's awesome, Charlie. That's awesome. 6 weeks. I want you guys to go in there and pass the exam. So that is basically it. And I'll be concluding around here today. Tomorrow, I want to do another Q&A session with you tomorrow, focusing on key issues that you have that you want me to share my thought on. So what you want me to do is that go over your notes, okay? Whatever you studied, come with specific questions, okay? Don't give me general or generic question. Come with specific question. Nhyira, how do we do this? Okay, when the question is this, what do you do? That kind of thing. So tomorrow we will do another Q&A session, and then I'll also provide you with some strategies and some key areas you need to focus on in some of the specific subjects as we go ahead with our discussion. So thank you very much for joining the stream. It's always a pleasure coming your way. I really love the communication, the sharing of the video, the thumbs up on the video. Really love it because it helps us a lot. That is how we get to reach as many students as possible and assist a lot of students across the continent, across the globe, and also help a lot of students to become successful in life. So thank you very much, and shout outs to everyone who joined the stream, everyone who asked the question, everyone who commented, shared the video, and gave us a thumbs up. God really richly bless you, and I really appreciate your support. So I'll catch you same time tomorrow for another Q&A session. So come and hit me with any questions you have in any areas that you would want me to share my thought on. Once it is a subject that I teach, I will be able to provide some knowledge on them, whether it is tax, financial reporting, corporate reporting, audit and assurance, financial management, management accounting, public sector. What else? Strategic case study, everything, right? So almost everything, and I should be able to provide you with some knowledge on them. And so tomorrow I'll come your way same time as we continue with our discussion. Till we meet tomorrow, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you. Bye-bye.